That's Nick.
And that's Joseph. And today we're here to talk about Dolittle, which opens January 17th, 2020, courtesy of Universal Pictures.
You seem bored.
Well, the film did little. It did little for me.
It's directed by
Stephen Gaghan, who is an Oscar winner. He won an Academy Award for Best Screenplay for Steven Soderbergh's Traffic back in 2000.
Okay.
And then he,
So, the original Doctor Dolittle was in
1967.
Starring
Rex Harrison and Samantha Eggar and Anthony Newley. It was a musical.
Okay.
And it actually was. I remember my mother. I had it on VHS as a kid, and I didn't. It was when I was an adult when I realized that it's not considered a good film. The original. In fact, the 1967 film was seen as a sign of the times, as in the Hollywood musical period was over.
Oh, okay.
Which I think maybe this signals a similar kind of swing. Maybe.
So
anyway.
there was that. Then it was remade
In 1998
with Eddie Murphy.
With Eddie Murphy, directed by Betty Thomas.
Then there was a sequel with Eddie Murphy.
And then another. There's a Dr. Dolittle 3 with a little girl.
Yes. Whose name I just forgot, but she was on a show called I'll look it up.
It doesn't matter. We're far, far removed.
It stars Flex Alexander, who's married to Shanice Wilson. That's all I know.
Oh, there
anyway.
you go. But all of these are originally based on the series of novels by Hugh Lofting, who wrote them, 8 of them during his lifetime, 2 published posthumously. They're supposed to be set in 1820s to 1840s London. Keep that in mind as we go forward.
Okay. So this one stars Robert Downey Jr. as Dr. Dolittle. There are a lot of famous people voicing the animals, like
Rami Malek, John Cena, Octavia Spencer, Kumail Nanjiani, Tom Holland, Emma Thompson, Craig Robinson, Ray Fiennes, Marion Cotillard. There's others that are...
So I recognize all of those people. I didn't recognize any of their voices.
Okay. No, Octavia Spencer I knew.
Octavia Spencer I thought was Tiffany Haddish for a while until I realized it wasn't Tiffany Haddish, but I didn't know it was Octavia.
And Craig Robinson's the chipmunk, and at first I was thinking, like, what black man would do this
Yeah,
movie?
the chipmunk is obviously black.
At first, no, but what that would do this movie? And at first I'm like, that must be Anthony Mackie. But it's Craig Robinson.
Okay. I don't know. I feel like there's
Selena Gomez.
Selena Gomez is one? Jeez. So we'll talk about the sound and the voicing probably later.
Okay.
Or shortly. But the basic premise is Dr. Dolittle lives in like this animal reserve compound that was like bequeathed to him or
by the Queen of England.
Or is sponsored by the Queen of England. But the love of his life, Lily Dolittle, ventures off one day on an adventure. And dies.
And she dies.
So he becomes like saddened and like never leaves the compound, doesn't see any more patients until one day the Queen sends for him again. Or the Queen sends for him because she's ill and she needs his assistance. And her messenger explains to him that if the Queen dies, there will be no one to advocate for your land.
The messenger, you mean the macaw named Polly?
No, the girl, Lady Bird.
Oh, yes. Well, the Polly the bird helps with that message.
No, but who's the girl?
I don't know.
What's her name? Lady Red or?
She's the princess.
Lady Rose.
Lady Rose.
Okay, I was thinking of Lady Red Couture, but Lady Rose. Yeah. So it's very predictable. He decides to go on this adventure to find a cure for the Queen. He obviously finds it. The Queen is saved to the end. This is a kid's movie. It's rated PG, right? It's not for my sensibilities. I could see how kids would enjoy it. The humor
I don't know if I could... there was a lot of adults kind of humor. And I got so tired.
But that's every, modern kids film, right?
Well, the anachronistic language and dialogue.
Well, let's start with what worked. I think the animals look good, except for that baby lion.
Oh, yeah.
But otherwise, I think the film looks really good. The effects are, good.
Sure.
Robert Downey Jr. is... I like him generally.
Yeah, I find him boring.
I think he was doing sort of an impression of kind of like Sherlock Holmes mixed with like who does Johnny Depp play in Pirates of the Caribbean?
Captain Jack Sparrow.
It's like if you mix his Sherlock Holmes with Captain Jack Sparrow.
Robert, yeah, I was thinking that while watching him too. He's kind of like a less problematic Johnny Depp at this point. He's doing the same thing over and over again, I think. And his accent, oh my God, like just don't even have one.
Well, hold on. So, I mean, there's nothing about the film you thought was...
No, I found this a chore to sit through.
Okay.
Start to finish.
So, yeah, so the biggest problem for me would be the Robert Downey Jr.'s like vocals. I think most of it was done post. Like,
I feel like a lot of it. I think I read that there was some significant articles published that this film had a lot of
there are obviously issues with the sound, like his voice in particular. It doesn't really even. It almost is like bad lip syncing. And
Which
then he's doing some weird accent.
Yeah, which could account for the accent changing quite a bit. Like more than I remembered in Sherlock Holmes, for sure.
Like, it's so bad that it was distracting to me.
Yeah, it was very distracting.
So then, like you mentioned, it's set in 1820s or early 1800s England.
Well,
but then the animals talk like modern day. So only really like Robert Downey Jr. and like the humans.
The kid played by...
Yeah, the human characters speak
Collett.
appropriate to the time, but the animals don't, which seemed a little weird. Yeah, that was...
I mean, because it said when Queen Victoria is ostensibly still young, played by Jessie Buckley. Which and then it's like, did she the queen that bequeathed him this animal kingdom?
Yeah, I was confused by that too, because the queen who's ill looks younger than Robert Downey Jr. And then the time between when he was given the preserve or the reserve to when the queen becomes ill, like, it's not clear to me.
No, it feels very rough. Remember they showed the boat moving on the map too? It's like everything's very fast.
I fully expected the sick queen to be like very old, like in her 80s. But then she looks to be younger than Robert Downey Jr.
No, for what the semblance of detail they actually are paying attention to. What the fuck does it even matter?
And then, yeah, he says, like, by this, like, it sounds like within a week she'll die if we don't get this anecdote. Oh, so then, like,
Nightshade,
you know, the plot of her being sick revolves around some of the other people in the court want to get rid of her. They want to kill the queen so they can have power. So she's been poisoned by Nightshade. So Robert Downey Jr. has to go to the secret island, or Dr. Dolittle needs to go to a secret island to find the anecdote. Who voices the dragon? Is that Emma?
No, that's a lady named Florence de la Tour.
Oh.
Who was in The History Boys, which is a British film over a decade ago. That was a big deal. I liked the dragon, I guess.
Okay, so the dragon was cool. But even so, the way they are able to pass the dragon who's guarding the anecdote is that the... Antidote. Yeah, not anecdote. Antidote. Sorry, the antidote. The dragon has like a bowel obstruction, so there's sort of a comical scene where like they remove...
They have to dig in there.
The film is... I didn't dislike it as much as you did. I also don't know what, children like, but it just seems like maybe kids do like that sort of like spastic like emotion, silliness. It's just all over the place.
But even...
Because I found myself getting a little like teary-eyed, but then it's like, then there's like a fart joke. But maybe that's what kids like, that's what appeals to kids.
Sure.
It doesn't seem as cool or fresh as...
No, it felt very
like
tired.
A Pixar film or a...
That's why I was thinking like maybe how the original musical is kind of a signal of like, this is trash. Might apply again to Doctor Who. So to be honest, I haven't seen the Eddie Murphy movie version.
I have. It's set in modern times.
Yeah.
He's not...
Is it better than this?
Yeah.
So there's really not a good Dr. Dolittle movie.
It's just silly. It's just silly. But yeah, this one did feel a little magical. It's super predictable. Simon Pegg plays a bad guy.
Simon Pegg.
Who's that man?
That's Michael Sheen.
That's Michael Sheen?
Yes!
Oh,
But although, to be fair, when you first see him, because the view is basically obstructed.
I'm 100% sure that's Simon Pegg.
No, it's not. It's not.
My God.
It's a very bitchy Michael Sheen.
What has Michael Sheen been in?
Oh
that I would
God,
know?
a ton of stuff that you would know. Underworld, The Damned, or you didn't see The Damned United. He's in the Twilight movies, which you've seen.
I'll have to look
He's
him
one
up.
of the vampires.
Okay, sorry, Michael Sheen.
Sorry to this man.
Sorry to this man. He plays a bad guy.
He's kind of fun.
It's kind of fun.
Did you recognize his cohort in the court, Jim Broadbent?
No. The old man?
Yeah. From
From
What's
what?
Over Broadway.
He's the fat guy?
Yeah.
Oh, no, I
I mean, he's in a
didn't.
ton of stuff, but
Oh, no,
since
I
you
didn't.
watched that so many times.
Yeah. I don't really know what to say about this film except that I guess for like 10 to 12-year-olds, maybe it could be.
10 to 12-year-olds with privileged parents that can pay these ticket prices. Yeah.
Well, it's also not very cool or fun, so I don't know like what kind of kids.
And the score, I was thinking like, sounds so generic, and I was so surprised to read that Danny Elfman scored this movie.
Oh. The movie does feel big. Like it does feel like a big
Yeah,
production.
that big bloated pile. And then
I don't think it's bloated. It's just predictable, and it feels kind of stale.
Yes.
Even if I didn't know that Doctor Dolittle is a previously told tale, like it just feels. Because Antonio Banderas is in it.
Oh yes, which we saw this the morning that he received his first Oscar nomination.
Oh, he did? For what?
For Pain and Glory.
Oh.
A Almodovar film. He won Best Actor for at Cannes.
I haven't gone through the nominations yet.
But yeah, but he's whatever.
But I was thinking like Puss in Boots because of him.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I could see like kids, young people liking a movie like that.
Mm-hmm.
With, old-timey sort of themes, and this movie just feels kind of stale.
And it was lensed by Guillermo Navarro, who did, he's worked several times with Guillermo del Toro, but like Pan's Labyrinth, this is the cinematographer of Pan's Labyrinth, and it looks like...
Well, I don't think it looks bad.
It's just so generic looking, there's nothing...
Anyway, I would give this film 2 out of 5 stars.
I'd 1.5, and that's being nice.
Okay.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.